10 kids who were raised by animals. There have been multiple stories of feral animals raised in isolation from the rest of the world. But have you ever heard of a feral child raised by animals? Well, there have been multiple cases all over the world where children, either abandoned or lost, end up being raised by wild animals who might have harmed them under normal circumstances, but ended up protecting them. So, in today's video, we'll be looking at 10 kids who were raised by animals, and each case is more unique than the one before it. We'll get into the video in just a bit, but now I'd like you to do me a favor by liking the video and subscribing to the channel for more intriguing videos like this. Marina, raised by animals. Only 3 years old when she was kidnapped, Marina was abandoned by her captors in the Colombian jungle and left to die. Fortunately for her, she was adopted by a group of capuchin monkeys, who took her in as one of their own. The monkeys taught little Marina how to climb trees, pick fruit, and hunt for birds and rabbits with her bare hands. After living in the jungle without human contact for 5 years, and having lost her language abilities, 8-year-old Marina was captured by a group of hunters who sadly sold her to a brothel. Little Marina managed to run away and had a hard life living on the streets, where she managed to regain some speaking and language abilities. And today, she is married with a family and has published a book about her life as a monkey girl. The Ostritch Boy. At just 5 years old, little Sidi Muhammad wandered away from his home somewhere in North Africa and became lost in the forest. He found an ostrich nest with baby chicks, befriended the chicks, and when the ostrich parents returned, they took him in as one of the hatchlings. These large birds taught little Sidi how to run as fast as they did, and sheltered him in their nest where he ate the same nuts and grass as his adopted ostrich parents. It wasn't until he was 12 years old before he was rescued by some ostrich hunters and reunited with his parents. The toddler saved by cats. It was winter of 2008 when Argentinian police discovered an abandoned 1-year-old boy surrounded by dozens of street cats. According to police reports, when they tried to approach the child, the cats got aggressive and extremely protective of the child. Apparently, the child had gotten separated from his father when he was out begging for money. The cats found the toddler and kept him alive in the cold winter by constantly licking him, laying beside him, and bringing him scraps of food. The child was later reunited with his father, who told the police that the street cats had always been gentle with the baby, as they all lived on the streets together. The dog boy from Chile. Abandoned by his 16-year-old mother, this Chilean boy spent most of his young life living on the streets. And when he was about 10 years old, he was taken in by a pack of wild dogs living in a cave. He became a member of the pack and would suckle milk from the dog's breast. He joined them in hunting for food, and the pack occasionally scavenged dumpsters near the Chilean port. When he was found by police, he tried to run away and would bite and bark at the officers as they grabbed him. He has bruises and scars all over his body and had no ability for human communication. He managed to learn some Spanish as time went on, but still wanted to be reunited with his pack. Chhaidy, the jungle girl. A sad case indeed. A 4-year-old, Chhaidy, went missing in the jungles on the border between India and Myanmar, but managed to survive without human contact for 38 years. Locals had heard rumors of a naked girl living in the jungle, but brushed it off as just superstition and gossip. She was later discovered living in a cemetery in Myanmar, and was finally reunited with her family as a full-grown woman. For someone who lived in the jungle for almost 4 decades, Chhaidy was able to learn new words and quickly became social enough to interact with people. Bello, raised by chimpanzees. In 1996, hunters in northern Nigeria rescued a 2-year-old boy whom they named Bello. The boy was taken from a family of chimpanzees in the Fulgore Forest in Kano State, which officials state is where he must have been living for more than a year. Officials stated that Bello must have been abandoned at just 6 months old by a group of nomadic Fulanis, as he showed signs of physical and mental abnormality, with a large forehead and extended chest. Bello walked slanted on one side and dragged his arm on the ground, much like a chimpanzee, and would also cup his fingers as a monkey would as well. Although a sad situation, Bello was lucky to have been raised and protected by the chimpanzees, else he probably wouldn't have survived alone in the forest. Dina, the wolf boy. In 1867, deep in the Bulanjahar forest in India, hunters noticed a small, human child following a pack of wolves into a cave. Thinking the boy was in danger, the hunters killed the wolves and rescued the boy. Dina, as he was later called, exhibited animal behavior while under the care of an orphanage in Sikandra. Estimated to be around 6 years old, Dina didn't want to wear clothes and would rip them off immediately if it was put on him. He preferred to eat raw meat instead of cooked food, and walked on all fours for a long time. He managed to learn to stand upright and dress up with much difficulty, but he never did learn to speak. He lived for over 20 years after his rescue, until he died of tuberculosis due to a habit of chronic smoking. Saturday Mthiyane. More monkey than man. A 5-year-old named Saturday was discovered in the company of monkeys in KwaZulu-Natal in South Africa, where he had probably been living for years. He was rescued and had to be taught how to walk upright, although with much difficulty. At the age of 17, and he was still unable to speak, he still preferred fruits to cooked food and still walked like a monkey. He still prefers to be in the company of monkeys at the zoo and on reservations. Ivan Mishukov, the alpha dog boy. Born sometime in 1992, Ivan ran away from his home trying to escape his alcoholic mother and her abusive boyfriend. He lived in the streets of Moscow, where he became friends with a pack of dogs, feeding them while they protected him from the cold, harsh Russian winter. He became the alpha of the pack, and although he was rescued by police on several occasions, he escaped only to return to his pack of street dogs. Eventually, he was finally captured and relearned how to speak, which was how he told the story of how he ended up on the streets. Marcos Rodriguez Pantoja, Mountain Man. Marcos Rodriguez was sold to a goat herder at just 7 years of age, but was soon alone in the mountains when the goat herder passed away. He could have rejoined society then, but preferred the company of wild animals to humans, as he lived alone with them for over 12 years. He would join the animals in eating raw meat, scavenging for grubs, and digging for tubers underneath the ground. He was reintegrated into society in his early 20s, and spent decades trying to relearn human social interactions. Although not an ideal situation, these people survived alone with animals for years and lived to tell the tale. That's all for today, guys. Let us know in the comments any other feral cases you might have heard, and we'll see you on the next video.